Hello there, my name is Stewart. I'm the principal and founder of Holding Space Halton, my own private practice for grief support and end-of-life navigation. I'm a registered social service worker. I'm an internationally trained nurse. I am trained as a Home Hospice Association death doula, and I am a volunteer in the community I live in all kinds of aspects with bereavement and death and dying. So what brought me to this? Why am I, who am I today, and what am I bringing to the field? So looking back into my early childhood, I was always the one that was told to be, you're so sensitive. And looking back, I can really say now that I did carry, a lot of loss and grief with me whenever a friendship broke up or a friend moved away or anything other unexpected changed. I was certainly the one that was going through the roller coaster of emotions. Of course, not knowing back in time that these are losses that I experienced, and that I was going through grieving, that I was doing grief work for myself as a child. But I was very aware that, some days were easier than other days were. I also experienced grief dreams quite a bit. So my late grandma, when she died, I was about 12 years old, and I always felt as if she was holding my hand through all my young teenage, young adulthood, and into my adolescence and to my adulthood. Until I was ready to let go, and knowing her, having her around, not really knowing and understanding where she is, was so comforting to me that all this kind of what has happened in my life feels like it comes together in the work that I do today. In my mid-20s, I became a nurse, and while I was in my nursing studies, I witnessed a attempted suicide. So I was preparing medication, standing in the nursing station, and there was a window just on top of me, or in front of me, and I heard a funny sound, and I did feel like my eyesight caught something, and someone jumped out the window. And these situations, they stick with you. You start asking yourself certain questions about, you wonder why, you wonder what you could have done different. I didn't know the person. She wasn't in my care. But it makes you reflect, and it brings you further. Also, we have a family member who has and is suffering from a drug addiction and an undiagnosed mental health condition, which I know today has caused a lot of anticipatory grief in me since I was quite young. And knowing all this now, where it comes together, and understanding and knowing how to cope with it and live with it and live through it makes so much sense to me. From a nursing perspective, which I was wholeheartedly when I practiced in Switzerland before I immigrated to Canada, I specialized in oncology and palliative care, and I witnessed quite a few deaths due to cancer mostly, and I felt really blessed being along the bedside of many and talking to the family members, and doing that little bit of vigiling maybe that you can do in a hospice setting, and speaking to whoever needed to have a listening ear, and it was quite forming. And after my immigration to Canada, I realized, well, I can't work in my profession here anymore, so I kind of had to reinvent myself. I went back to school, did a social service worker degree, and realized with that I can bring all my passion and what I find meaningful to do in life back into a nutshell. And this is where Holding Space Halton was created. Finding that through my personal experience and my work experience, I can bring compassion out there, and I can lend that listening ear. I can bring that understanding and that companionship to those who are really suffering and going through difficult times. With this being said, as we all know, grief does not follow a linear trend. So, and so does my workday not follow a linear trend. There's another question about how does my average workday look like. So there is no average at all. So it depends very much on what perspective you take, I guess. I am still midst in the process of establishing Holding Space Halton. I do a lot of community outreach with community partners. I have presentations that I'm holding in libraries. An example would be Oakville, and there will be one starting up in Milton very soon. I'm connecting with advocates in the community and trying to get the word out, and really advocating for that grief education and that grief literacy that I find is so necessary to have in the community, and to find words to these situations that are sometimes so unbelievable, untrue to us, that it's just good to have this listening ear, and sometimes even invent non-earthly words that try to describe what we're going through. So this is my life with Holding Space Halton, and then I do a lot of volunteering as well. I'm volunteering at a local hospice. I volunteer for a local home care agency in their bereavement team. I volunteer for Canadian Hospice and Palliative Care Association for their last 8 course that they're giving. So I'm a facilitator, a co-facilitator, and these courses are for the public, and they're educating about what happens at the end of life, what do people go through at the end of life, what happens during bereavement, and some coping strategies and self-care tips. And I'm also a member of the Townsend Smith Foundation Awareness Committee. So that foundation is at the moment raising funds to build a hospice in North Halton, in the area of Georgetown, Acton, and Milton. And all what I do together brings up a full work week for me. And I almost forgot, I'm also the chapter lead for Home Hospice Association, which is the association where I trained as a death doula. So my chapter is Hamilton, Halton, and Haldimand, and my role is to bring all the death doulas together in the area to organize the networking, professional learning days, and keep us all in the loop and in the know, and to make the public aware of what we do as death doulas, and where our role can be either complementary in the medical field, or for families who are in the need of beyond medical care for their loved ones at home or in an institution. And another question that BON addressed to me was, is there any advice you have for those who may be interested in doing what I'm doing? So I'm not sure if I'm yet in the position to really give advice. Sometimes I feel I'm still figuring it all out myself, because no day is like the other. No client is like the other. And we all know no grief is like the other. So I'm not sure if I can give advice. What I do know is it's important to set healthy boundaries. It's important knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. There's many fields you can work in the end of life industry, if you want to call it like that, or field is maybe a better word. And you might be better in the one-on-one support, you might be better presenting, you might be better in the education area. I think you kind of like gotta feel and find out what works for you. And I always find being really authentic and humble in the position. So when I start my presentations, when I talk to a group, I clarify in the beginning that I won't know exactly what they're going through, and everyone is their own grief expert, and everyone should really just take away what they can from what I say. And I hope there is a takeaway, and not taking yourself so serious, and really laying the expert knowledge into the one that is going through what they're going through. Building up a private practice is hard work. So I just mentioned, I think in the beginning, Holding Space Halton has its 1-year anniversary soon, and it's been a very interesting year. I'm very thankful for my opportunities that I've been given. I've been very thankful for everyone that I met on my path. I've been very thankful for all the networking I was able to do. And I think you need a lot of perseverance. You need to know what you want. There's a lot of ups and downs. There's certainly not a paycheck right away. So, you need a long breath. But it's so rewarding. You're your own boss, and you do what is meaningful really to you. And what makes my work so meaningful and purposeful, I think, is really the palpable compassion that I often feel, and the hug that you get every once in a while, the connection between people, the deeply humanness that I feel, that people are so thankful for in feeling it and naming it, and I feel like I'm reaching. I'm holding out my open hand, and if someone takes it, that's worth all I do. And so BON on my 1-year path has been a very trusted companion, and I'm very happy that I found the wonderful people that are running BON, who are behind the scenes, who are stepping up, who are always a trusted and a listening ear for me. It's my place to ask for advice, for a form of supervision in what I do. I found a like, so I am with people who are working in the same field, who have the same passion, who often are also much older than I am, who bring a lot of experience, and I love how they share, and I love how they're giving, and I'm receiving, and I'm giving what I can give in the experience I make. So I'm very happy and grateful that BON came my way, and that I can be a vital part of the community. Yes, so this is who I am, and I have a website, of course. If you want to look at my website and see more about the work I do, feel free to do so. It's www.holdingspacehalton.ca, and thank you for listening.